we're going to cover supplier compliance annual declaration response and the score. So you will receive an email alert from Jagger when the response is ready to be submitted, and the email alert will look like this. This is the email alert, and the first link here will take you to the forms that you need to complete. So once you click on this link here, it will take you to the system. You'll need to log in, and then it will take you directly into where you need to start submitting your response. What we're going to do though is we're going to go straight to the Jagger homepage and navigate to this, just in case there's any issues with the email alert. So I'm going to go to my Jagger homepage and I'm going to log in as my supplier. You'll see here the options on the left hand side. The one that you're looking for is not actually listed here, so you can click on any and then we'll navigate from the next menu. So I'm just going to click on surveys. Again, excuse me, it wouldn't matter what one you selected, because once you get past this part, you'll see on the left hand side we have the menu, and we want to click on the one that's got, well, when you hover over it, it's an icon of a person with a tick. When you hover over it, it says my organisation, and then you'll see a drop down here, and we want to select assessments and editable assessments. You'll see the form that's sitting here to be edited, and it's got a green tick next to this. The reason it's got a green tick is the form questions can be populated throughout the year and held on your supplier profile. This is all covered on the supplier maintenance video that's been done prior to this. So if you populate that throughout the year, it means as soon as you come to this point, your answers that have been populated will pull through here. So it looks like it's been completed, but we actually still need to work through this. This is just a green tick saying that there's answers against all the mandatory questions that are going to be asked. So I'm going to click on the buyer organisation link here, which is the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. And you'll see it takes us here to then start completing the forms. So just to start off, I'm going to start the top form and then work my way through. So if you click on the compliance profile data, and then you'll see there's nothing here to populate because this is all done from the buyer side, which is the FCDO. And then here at the top, you'll be able to navigate between the forms that need to be completed. So if we click on the arrow, you will see that the questions appear and you have a pencil at the top of the screen. So if you have anything here that you need to edit, so as I said, you could have done this throughout the year via your profile, but if you've not, then you can click on the pencil at the top of the screen. As I've just said, you can obviously populate these fields throughout the year on your supplier profile page, but if you haven't done that, and this is the first time doing your annual assessment, your annual declaration, you will notice that there's additional questions at the end. So you'll recognise all these forms, and then when you get to the end, there'll be new questions that you need to populate. And if this isn't your first annual declaration and you haven't been doing the updating throughout the year, you will notice at the end those questions have last year's responses, and you will need to go through those and update accordingly. And this is all if you haven't been doing the updates throughout the year. And you can come in and you can click on which looks like a refresh icon to change the file that's there. If you have more than one file attached, please create a zip folder, zip the files in this folder, and then attach the zip folder. If you have a response that you need to complete, but you haven't got that part completed yet, and what you should do is attach a file saying that you are working towards this and the date that you plan to achieve that. So if there's a response that's required, but you haven't yet got that response completed, please still attach a file saying that you're working towards this and the date is going to be achieved. You can delete the file out and you can change the expiry dates. You can also scroll down and add any text for the text fields. So once you're happy with that, you can just click Save and Next. And it will take you through all the forms that have been sent. So all the forms you originally got with your qualification assessment, these will be sent again. You update what you need to update, and then there'll be additional forms at the end. So I'm just going to click through. As I've already described how you would do any updating here, I'm not going to do any updating. I'm just going to keep going. Clicking Save and Next, and you'll eventually see that we have a annual declaration, supplier annual declaration part to complete. So I've done this already, I've populated this, but you would just populate it like you did with anything else. It's free text box, it's got the browse for any attachments, and you would do your answers that you needed to do here. And once you've done that, you can click Save and Next. And that will be that you've went through all the forms. Once you've done this, you will now notice that on the right hand side it's got forms viewed and it's got yes. Previously that had no. We want this to all say yes before we return to the buyer. This just ensures that you've checked all the data that was previously logged and you're happy with it. It's also ensuring that if you've been making updates during the year on your supplier profile, that has actually, the updated file has been saved correctly and included in this response. So once you're happy with this, you can return this to the FCDO. You'll notice here at the top we've also got a messaging tab. The messages, if you click on this, you can then create a message. You can view your messages that have been sent. You can see the responses. But what I would say is only use this while this form is on the go. So if you are just saving part and coming back to it and you're not going to complete it in one full swoop. So if you're doing, because with this form you can just save parts and come back until you're ready to submit. You don't need to do it all in the one go. If you're doing that and you have any queries during it, you can use this messaging tab at the top, and then you can message between you and the FCDO. Once you've returned this form, the messaging will no longer appear as the editable assessment will have disappeared. So please only use this, as I said, while you're doing the form. If you have any questions with the form at the time and any of the response, then please do that. But please make yourself aware that once you click return forms to buyer, this will disappear in the messaging. So I'm happy, and I'm now going to click return forms to buyer and then click OK. You'll see now the editable assessment has now disappeared. The forms have disappeared, so I cannot access that messaging. Excuse me, if there's any issues with your response, the FCDO can then send it back to you, and the forms will appear again in here, the ones that they need you to complete again, and you would just do exactly what you just done. You would go through the forms, to update what you needed to update based on the guidance from the FCDO, and then you would return it, and you would do that back and forth until you were happy with the final outcome. So what we would now be waiting on is the FCDO to score this. So any scorecards that are in relation to this, you'd be able to go to your icon again with the icon of the person with the tick, and then go to scorecards, and you'll see qualification scorecards.
This records conversations better than taking notes ever could. This is Pocket, an AI note taker that records conversations so you don't have to. I use it for meetings, phone calls, or even doctor's visits. And it captures everything clearly up to 49 feet, even phone calls.
And in here, there's the one from the actual qualification assessment. And what we would do is, once your new scorecard has been done, it will appear here. So what we'll do is we will pick up the video once the scoring has been done. We are now picking back up with the scorecard being completed and the score being done. So we are going to look at this as in the perfect scenario where you've been back and it's scored as 100. You'll see that we still only have the one scorecard. That's how it works with the qualification scorecard. So it's just an updated version of that. What you'll see on the right hand side is we have a date closed, and you can see that the date this was closed was 21/02/24, which is today and just been closed. If this scorecard is still in progress, you'll be able to see that that date wouldn't be as today. So that's how you would know that the card is still open. So we're going to click on the organisation name to go back in. And then you'll see the Forms tab. And if we click on the scorecard form, you'll see your current score. And the difference with this one now, as the previous one, when we done a video for the qualification assessment, it still looks the same. There's still only one scorecard, but when you scroll to the bottom of this, you'll see that the annual declaration questions have been included in this and they've been scored. So you can now go through and look to see what your score is. You can see the score's 100. If your score wasn't 100, then there may be a bit of back and forth between yourselves and the FCDO. You'll be able to see where your scoring has dropped by looking at each question has a score and each section has a score. So you can see all of that. And while this is in progress, we're obviously looking at it at the point where the scoring's been done. We're happy with the score, it's been completed and it's been closed. If that wasn't the case and it's in progress and there's back and forth, then there's a messaging tab. And in here, you can create messages and send them to the FCDO. They can send messages back. You can view your sent messages and your received messages. But only do this when the scorecard's in progress. Once this has been completed, you will still be able to see the scorecard like we can just now, but the FCDO aren't going to be going and checking messages. They're only going to do that during the process that this is in progress. So please remember that when using the messaging function. And if you want to print off the summary of this scorecard to prove your declaration externally, which has been covered in the maintenance video, you can click print summary. And what you'll see is it allows you to download the PDF. So if you click download PDF, it will give you as is. The only problem with this is any links to files like here, someone would need to have access to Jagger if they clicked on this link once the PDF has been downloaded. If you want these separate, you would need to go into each response and click on it and download it to see to have the file externally, and then you would be able to do your PDF and you could include it all together. So that's how you would get a printed version of this. And that covers the scoring and the scorecard and the messaging within that. So that is the end of this video. So today we have covered the the annual declaration response, the scorecard and the messaging. So thanks very much for watching this video.